Welcome to Archetypes of the East. Today we're looking at Hexagram 35, Progress, Advancement. There is movement forward, rapid advancement, and success. The conditions are perfect for advancing initiatives. A season of unimpeded progress guided by clarity and enlightened leadership. When both the leader and the follower recognize their strengths and work in tandem, there is little that can stop them. The principle of this hexagram is the golden ascent. Hexagram 35 represents the archetype of expansion through clarity and visibility. The structure is fire over earth. It is the image of the sun rising over the horizon, touching everything with light. This is the strategy of the public triumph. You are no longer working in the shadows or pushing against a hedge. You're advancing into the open air. This is a green light from the universe. Because you're acting with clarity and the situation is receptive, your progress is natural. You don't have to butt horns through hedges and other types of obstacles. The world is literally rolling out a red carpet for your ideas and your path forward. This hexagram is famous for the line, "The powerful prince is honored with horses in large numbers." Your success depends on your ability to be seen. If you hide your talents now, you're wasting your internal sun. Progress here is a social and professional phenomenon. It requires the recognition of those above you. This is about stepping into the light and being seen. In career, this is the promotion or the high visibility project where you finally get the resources that you need. Don't be humble to a fault. Let your light shine. In relationships, this is the period of clarity where your misunderstandings dissolve in the morning sun. The momentum is effortless because your path is illuminated. The key or energy of this hexagram is bright, warm, and expansive. The atmosphere of hexagram 35 is the first hour of a perfect summer day. It feels like a long-awaited yes. The air clears, the view is long, and the brakes of the previous weeks have been released. You aren't just moving forward, you're growing outward. The image of hexagram 35 states, fire over earth. The sun rises over the earth, the image of progress. The superior person themselves brightens their own shining virtue. Fire rising from the earth is reminiscent of the image of the dawn. As the sun rises over the horizon, it shines effortlessly and warms the planet. Progress isn't just about accolades and rewards at the end of the day. It's the inner light that we shine on the world, there for others so that they can use it as a guiding light for their own journey. The judgment of hexagram 35 states, progress. The superior one is honored with great resources, like horses and large numbers for their undertaking. In a single day, one is granted audience with authority as much as needed. This is about merited acceleration. In the I Ching, this level of success is never an accident. The progress of the sun is inevitable, but the horses are a reward for the virtue that you've cultivated in the shadows. This is the strategy of the open gate. Because your work is open and your purpose is clear, the universe and the authorities in this judgment respond with massive support. This is about maximizing your personal daylight. Seize the day when the sun is up. Make the move, ask for the promotion. In other hexagrams, we wait for the right moment. And 35, the moment is now. The triple audience here means that your communication lines are wide open. If you have a request, a pitch, or a vision, present it while the light is hitting you. Hesitation now is like sleeping through the sunrise. All work is done openly. If you're dishonest, you run the risk of stalling. Fire over earth means that there is nowhere to hide. If you try to use this momentum for ulterior motives, the same light that is elevating you will expose you. To sustain this rise, your outward positivity must be backed with inner purity. In career, accept accolades, but immediately use them to empower your team. The horses aren't for show, they're for work. In relationships, use this radiating warmth to dissolve old grudges. Transparency isn't just about honesty, it's about being knowable. Let people see your heart. A changing line 1. Progressing at first, but then held back. Do not give up. Perseverance brings good fortune. If one is sincere and truthful within, there will be no blame. This line is talking about patient visibility. Line 1 is the bottom of the Earth trigram. You are the sun, but you're still below the horizon. You feel the urge to rise, but the weight of the Earth, that could be the status quo, old habits, or skeptical people around you, are pressing down on you. This is the strategy of the quiet pulse. You don't need to fight the shadows. You just need to keep burning bright. The path ahead may not be as smooth as one hopes. If one meets with no confidence, remain calm. The most painful part of line 1 is the lack of support. You have the vision, but no one is clapping yet. If you react with anger or push too hard to prove yourself, you lose your sincerity. The I Ching says, your worth is not determined by anyone else's recognition. If you remain steadfast, you will overcome the difficult start. The good fortune here is a result of consistency. If you continue to do good while you're being held back, you prove that your virtue is real and not just a performance for praise. When the mist finally clears, your foundation will be undeniable. In career, this is the pilot program or the new idea that gets a lukewarm response. Don't scrap the project. Refine it in the shade. In relationships, this is the testing phase where trust is being built slowly. Don't demand a yes before the sun has actually risen. This is the line of the grind before the growth. It's the artist posting to 0 followers or the entrepreneur pitching to a silent room. The I Ching says, the mists of doubt are natural at the start of any great ascent. Do not take the lack of confidence personally. If you know your heart is truthful, then the delay is not a denial. It is a preparation. Stay calm, stay sincere, and let the light build up. A changing line 2. Progressing currently in sorrow and difficulty, but perseverance brings good fortune. One receives great good fortune from one's wise use of a receptive, nurturing, cultivating disposition, or one's ancestress. Line 2 is the center of the inner earth trigram. You are moving forward, but the ground feels heavy. This is the strategy of the deep root. Your progress isn't a loud, celebratory march. It's a quiet, soulful evolution that requires you to process your past burdens even as you climb. There may be an undercurrent of sadness in your endeavor, but keep going. This is not a depressing sign, it's an authentic one. Real growth often involves a sense of loss. Leaving an old version of yourself behind can feel like grief. The I Ching validates your sorrow, but promises that it does not block your good fortune. The ancestress of this line represents the soft power of the subconscious and the lineage. When the fire of ambition, the outer trigram, feels too hot or lonely, you must return to the earth, the inner trigram, for wise counsel or self-care. This line is also subtly talking about honoring the lineage. In career, this is the time to seek out a female mentor or to tap into your intuitive feminine intelligence rather than just raw logic. In relationships, it's a call for deep empathy and grounding. The way forward is through your heart and not just through your head. This is the line of emotional intelligence in action. It's the leader who reaches the top, but stops to acknowledge the sacrifices made to get there. The I Ching says, progress doesn't always have to feel like a party. Sometimes it feels like a heavy responsibility. If you feel lonely or sad, do not mistake it for failure. Reach back into your ancestry, your core values and nurturing instincts to find the strength to continue. Your sadness is the compost for your future joy. A changing line 3. All things are in accord regarding the matter, and previous regret vanishes. Line 3 is the transition point. You're leaving the inner world of the self and entering the outer world of the community. This is the strategy of the rising tide. When your personal vision aligns with the needs of all, you no longer have to push, you are carried. Progress is easy when there is general agreement. This bodes well for teamwork. In the previous lines, you were a lone sun trying to pierce the mist. Now everyone has seen the light. The remorse vanishes because the fear of being wrong or alone is gone. When the group says yes, the burden of leadership is shared. This is an encouraging sign to continue strengthening group cohesion. While things are easy, don't become complacent. This agreement is your greatest asset. The I Ching suggests that your progress is now tied to the unity of purpose. If you break the trust of the collective now, you lose the horses promised in the judgment. In career, this is the unanimous vote, or the project that finally gets buy-in from every department. Use this harmony to accelerate your timeline. In relationships, this is a time of mutual accord, where everyone is finally on the same page regarding the future. Don't second-guess yourself. The consensus is real. This is the line of the universal green light. It's the feeling of a meeting where everyone stops arguing and starts nodding together in unison. The I Ching says, the friction has been replaced by flow. You're no longer progressing in a vacuum. You're part of a movement. Enjoy the relief of being understood and supported. When the all is in accord, the path isn't just open, it's paved. A changing line 4. One is progressing like a hamster, acting secretively behind the scenes. This perseverance brings the potential for danger. This line is cautioning transparency over tactics. Line 4 is the first line of the fire trigram. You have reached the light, but your behavior is still earthbound. This is the strategy of the glass house. In a hexagram defined by radiance, any attempt to hide, hoard, or act secretively creates a shadow that everyone can see. This line subcontextually warns against the timidity trap. The seeker may lack bold initiative, even when conditions are ideal. A hamster, or marmot in some translations, is a creature of the shadows. It hoards food, and it scurries from corner to corner. If you're in a position of progress but you're still acting out of scarcity, like hiding information, being indecisive, or even gatekeeping, you're working against the sun. You aren't being careful, you're being shifty. Working in secret could cause friction, or indicate a bad actor. If you persevere in this secretive way, you will eventually be caught in the light. In this high visibility season, your secrets have a short shelf life. The danger is that your lack of transparency will destroy the unity built in line 3. In career, don't hijack the project or hide your progress from the team to look better. Share your results in real time. In relationships, reticence could be mistaken for deception. Open the curtains. If you aren't doing anything wrong, you don't need to act like a hamster. This is the line of imposter syndrome turning toxic. It's the person who feels that they don't belong in the sun, so they start hoarding resources or information to protect their spot. The I Ching says, the lights are on, everyone can see you scurrying. Stop trying to play office politics or hide your cards. True progress at this level requires the courage to be seen and accountable. Drop the hamster act and become the prince. A changing line 5. Let all previous expectations and regrets vanish. Do not worry about gains or losses at this time. To go forth on the endeavor brings good fortune, and there is nothing that does not further the matter. This line is encouraging a detached ascent. Line 5 is the ruler of the hexagram. It is a yin-yielding line in a position of supreme authority. This represents the grace of a leader. Unlike the hamster of line 4 who was obsessed with gains and hiding them, the sovereign of line 5 is obsessed with radiance. This is the strategy of the infinite game. Anxieties about personal outcomes should be let go of. Do not worry about gains or losses. When you're in a state of true progress, the scoreboard doesn't matter as much as the play. If you're constantly checking to see if you're winning, you dim your own light. The I Ching promises that when you stop accounting, you start ascending. Don't let attachment to reward influence your decisions. If you do the work for the reward, you're still hamster-like in the previous line. If you do the work because it's right and it's clear, you become a force of nature. Everything furthers because when you don't fear loss, you are impossible to intimidate or manipulate. This is about taking the high road. In career, this is the moment you focus on the mission of the company rather than the bonus. Paradoxically, this is usually when the biggest bonuses arrive. In relationships, this is the loving without a tally. You give because you have a surplus, not because you expect a return. You are now the sun. You shine because it's your nature, not because you want to thank you. This is being in the flow state. It's the athlete who stops looking at the clock and starts playing with total presence. The I Ching says the what-ifs and regrets are shadows from a lower altitude. You've risen above them. By detaching from the reward, you become the master of the situation. Go forth with gratitude. The universe is currently footing the bill for your progress. A changing line 6. Progressing aggressively, like a bull with horns lowered to attack. This is permissible only for correcting one's own sphere of influence. Being cautious and aware of the danger this brings will bring good fortune, and there is no blame. Continuing on with thoughtless perseverance any further will bring humiliation. This line is talking about disciplined contraction. Line 6 is the peak of the fire trigram. The light is becoming harsh and the day is ending. The progress of the earlier lines has reached a natural limit. This is the strategy of the household sweep. Any remaining aggressive energy that you have should not be used to expand anymore, but instead used to clean. The time for progress is over. Now one must correct personal mistakes or errors within their own circle. The lowered horns, the aggression or force, are a dangerous tool. If you use them against the world, the other, you will be seen as a tyrant and face humiliation. But if you use them against your own city, your own bad habits, your own organization's inefficiencies, or your own ego, you achieve good fortune. Pressing forward relentlessly leads to humiliation. In the previous line, going forth was a blessing. Now going forth is a mistake. The season has changed. If you try to force more growth out of a situation that is already at its peak, you will appear arrogant and headstrong. This is about checking in with your moral compass. In career, stop trying to win new territory and start fixing the bugs in your current system. Audit your own behavior. In relationships, stop trying to progress the relationship to the next level and focus on fixing your own communication flaws. The only person you should be attacking right now is the person that you were yesterday. This is the quality control line. It's the successful company that stops launching new products to fix the customer service issues in its flagship store. The I Ching says, "Your sun has reached its zenith. If you keep pushing outward, you will burn your bridges. Turn that fire inward now. Burn away your own excuses, your own mess, and your own arrogance. Real progress now is found in integrity, not in invasion." That concludes Hexagram 35. I hope that you liked the video if you found it helpful in understanding this hexagram. Subscribe to follow this series along, and next we'll encounter Hexagram 36, Darkening of the Light, Wounding of Brightness. See you then.